All right, we got the 45 caliber 45 ACP SIG V Crown Elite Performance out here today. Just recently did the 40 Smith & Wesson test of these. I'll put a link in the description if you want to check those out, but today we're doing 45 ACP. I'll be using my full-size Ruger SR 1911 with a 5-inch barrel. For those of you who have been paying attention and following the channel, yes, I'm still missing the front sight. I have not got around to contacting Ruger yet, but I promise I'm doing that soon, because I also got to contact them about my LCP Max here. So here sometime soon I'll get that front sight replaced, but shouldn't affect us here today. So these are the 230 grain versions. If they make a 185 or a 200, I will test those eventually, but this is just what I have for the moment. 230 grain, advertised 830 feet per second, 352 foot-pounds of energy. I'll have the chrono set up in front of the block so we can get a velocity read there. I'm using Knox 10% Ballistic Gelatin. My BB calibration today is coming in at 3.35 inches, so right there in the middle, right where we want to be. I do have these 40 Smith & Wesson here, and again, I mentioned the previous video of these I did was 40 Smith & Wesson, link in the description. But we got these tracks up high here, so I'll just try to come in a little lower with the 45, so that won't be affecting us there. And I got the entry for the 40 as the catch block on the back, so none of these channels from the 40 should affect us here today. My blocks are temperature controlled. They're straight out of the fridge. I put them in the back of the Durango, and I only had the heat up front on very low on the way here, and they're sitting out here. We're at about 35 degrees right now with no sunlight, so they should still be around optimal temperature. I'll do a single layer of t-shirt to start, and then 4 layers of denim. Sometimes I get complaints about the 4 layers of denim, which used to be an industry standard test. Comments, people don't wear 4 layers of denim, but I always like to point out that, hey, in the northern states when it's cold, especially colder than this jacket right here is probably as thick as that 4 layers of denim, and that's without me wearing any other layers. If it was colder out, and being outside like I am now, working outside, what have you, I would be wearing even more layers. So by contrast, the 4 layers of denim actually isn't that tough of a test, contrary to popular belief. A lot of people just hate to see their favorite round fail in the 4 layers of denim, which does often happen, and so that's why they complain. But really, that's nothing compared to what some guys are going to be wearing in the northern states in the middle of the winter. So I stand by the 4 layer denim test for that reason, but for those whiners, we got a single layer of t-shirt there. And yes, if some thugs after you in the summer, they're probably just wearing a t-shirt, but bad guys still do bad guy things in the middle of winter too, including northern states and Canada. All right, here we go. If I get a read on the chrono, I will show you guys. Well, unfortunately, I think that one went out the side there. Velocity 891 feet per second. There's the entry there. I'll just go ahead and examine this so we can get an idea of the permanent cavity and whatnot, and I'll take another one so we get a capture. But there is your permanent wound cavity, which is looking pretty nice. I can see we shed some jacket there. There's another piece down in there, and there's from up top. Got this huge bloom right here coming out. I showed this in the 40 video, so I figure I better do the same here. Now, from where this huge bloom is, if you count this, which does make it clear the edge here, it's actually split, and go clear over to this, it's going to be wider, obviously. But the widest point at any point in this permanent cavity here, it didn't quite reach the edge right there. So I got the tape measure about where it should be for that. Coming in about 2.5 inches there with that one single real wide bloom there. But anyways, let me take another shot off to the side there so we can get a capture through the t-shirt, and then we'll move to the 4 layers of denim. All right, it says duplicate on the read there, 891 again, so hopefully we get another read through the denim there. This thing jumped quite a bit. We do have capture there, so I came in right next to it just like I hoped to. I'm not seeing a massive bloom on that one. That here is from that first shot. I am not seeing that on the second shot. So I gotta say, guys, you're probably gonna see some of this. I'm trying not to reveal it, so you go watch the 40 video, but you'll definitely want to check out the 40 Smith & Wesson. And there she is. And of course, before we're done here today, I'll get penetration measurements for you guys, retained weight, and overall expanded diameter. All right, 4 layers of denim. All right, I see a good capture there. We got 857, I think it said. 857 feet per second. All right, let's check it out. That looks just as good as any of these, so I think we got decent expansion through the 4 layers of denim there. That's still a pretty nice permanent cavity there. There's from the side there. Yeah, that's still pretty big, pushing 2 inches there, so that's pretty good. And there she is right there. It did penetrate a little further because it looks like it did not expand quite as much, but let me get the overall penetration here and we'll pull them out for measurements and weights. All right, I'm gonna be a jerk here and cover the 40, so you still got to go watch that one. Again, link in the description if you want to check out the 40 Smith & Wesson version. So through the t-shirt, the one that we did capture, remember that one, it just missed out the side there. Seeing that one stopped right there, it just barely came out. It might even be laying around on the ground somewhere. I'll take a quick look and see if I can find it. Penetration there, coming in about 13 1/4, 13 1/2. Looks like just a smidge of bounce back there, so 13 1/2. And then through the denim, right at about 15. There's another angle, another look for you guys up top. That is pretty impressive through the denim there, especially when you consider that it did not expand all the way. There's a quick close-up of them before I get them cleaned up here and get weights and whatnot. It's pretty obvious to see which one went through the denim, especially from the side. Wow. All right, I picked out what I could of the gel that's stuck under the petals that folded over, which wasn't, I didn't get to pick out very much. I got some. I need to remember to bring toothpicks to pick that stuff out. So we get a retained weight on here. If you guys see this flickering, it's very sensitive. It's a reloader scale, so it measures like a few grains of powder at a time. So with the slight breeze that's out here today, it does cause it to flicker every once in a while. So retained weight then, with some of that gelatin being stuck in there on through the t-shirt, 233.7. So that's a little heavier, so that's got to be because of that gel. Try it again here. Come on, 0. There we go. 233.76. So, and then through the 4 layers of denim, which there is none stuck in there that I can see. So it just didn't. Wow, did you see a flicker there? The wind kicked up. 231.2. I did not find that other one, but I wish I could have, because that first one actually shed those 2 pieces of jacket that I pointed out, so it would have came in a little lower on the weight. The other 2 that we captured, I don't see any jacket in there, so it seems like only that first one that exited the block, which maybe that's why it curved on us, because it shed those petals and it caused it to alter its path a little bit. Now this one through the denim is going to have a rather large overall diameter because of those petals sticking out, but it doesn't do as much damage or have as much effect as you think it would, because as you can see from our test results, it clearly penetrated more, even though it still has a pretty large diameter there. But that's because it's only just those few petals that make it that wide. So while it may have a little more cutting action because of the sharp petals sticking out so far, it's not really doing much in the way of creating extra shock from the impact and whatnot, permanent cavity, and it's certainly not helping slow it down. It's getting over penetrate, well, almost over penetration because of that. So that's the only reason it's coming in so wide there at 0.894. So 89 caliber there, but again, it's because of those copper petals sticking out at 90-degree angles. So I'm going to turn it to where we're just getting lead and see what it actually truly measures out at. So the widest point I could get on it lead to lead is still pretty good at .655, so basically 65 caliber there, which is why we're still seeing a pretty decent permanent cavity there. So it's no 89 caliber like those little copper petals are sticking out there, but still, without that, you're still getting decent width there. Like I said, it didn't expand fully and beautifully and whatnot, but it didn't do terrible. It still opened up a decent amount there. All right, now the one through the t-shirt that we captured, that one's coming in pretty large at .800 there, so right on 80 caliber. But that is partially due to that one little copper petal sticking out just a little further there. So if you took that out of the equation, put it on the lead there just above it, you'd come in the high 7s, which is still a really large diameter. So through the t-shirt, this thing performed beautifully. Permanent cavities weren't the absolute largest I've seen, but that's because this is a bigger, heavier, slower 230 grain slug here. So if they do make 200s or 185s and they expanded to the same diameter, you would get much larger permanent cavities in here due to the higher velocity, which also may help through the 4 layers of denim, may help that one to open up a little bit better than that. So that'll do it there today, guys. Appreciate you watching. Like I said, link in the description. Go check out the 40 Smith & Wesson 40 Smith & Wesson version of that. If you guys want to get yourself any products you see me use in the video, like the scale here, micrometer, even the Knox gelatin I use for this ballistic gel, shooting bag, chrono earmuffs, and more, steel targets, links are in the description for all of that. As I said, in due time, hopefully I can find the other weights of these, and that goes for the other calibers as well. I do a lot of gel tests on the channels, guys, 9mm, 380, 22, everything. I'm even planning on doing some rifles and whatnot, centerfire calibers in the near future, and at distances, not just point blank range here. So I have a whole lot more to come. But again, I appreciate y'all stopping by and taking a look, and I hope to catch you on the next one.